Kosovo. Magnificent landscapes, lush green forests, massive mountains, and a rich ancient heritage. But Europe's newest country also has a complex recent history that still transcends into today. And while Kosovo is a place with many challenges, it is also a country with proud and kind-hearted people that are full of hope for a better future. The news are full of reports from the region, and many focus on difficulties and conflict. So I had heard and read much about Kosovo. Lots of words of praise, but also many words of caution. Beware of ethnic tensions, violence, crime and corruption. Avoid some of the disputed areas to the north, and watch out for street crime and watch your valuables. These were just some of the dire warnings I got, but none of them were able to deter me from this trip to this fascinating country. Over a full week I was going to explore Kosovo to see for myself what the so-called newborn country would be like. And I'm glad I did, because much of Kosovo's reality is quite different from its reputation. This would be the start of my grand Kosovo road trip, a journey full of memories that I still cherish. My journey to Kosovo started in the mountains of Montenegro. From there, I was descending the softly meandering national road, passing the border frontier where I had to get some paperwork taken care of. And Kosovo directly greeted me from its best side. The drive at the northern end of the Bjeskhet in Emuna National Park was fantastic, revealing the rough and rugged mountainscape and offering stunning views of the vast plains below. As I was heading down the mountain road, I was thinking of Kosovo's long history. In front of me lay the territory of the Dardanelles tribe that established the kingdom of Dardanelles about 2,500 years ago. Then the Romans annexed the land in the 1st century BC, before it became part of the Byzantine Empire. Later in the 13th century, Kosovo became part of the Serbian medieval state, and the Battle of Kosovo in 1389 should become a defining moment in the decline of the Serbian Empire as the Ottomans took over the territory for centuries to come. So I was looking forward to walking on historic paths. I was looking forward to my journey through Kosovo. My first stop would be at the White Drin mountain gorge and the famous White Drin Waterfall, a clear must-see for anyone visiting Kosovo. This deep mountain gorge is located in the heart of the Sar Mountains, where steep rock walls are competing with lush greenery. After a quick check-in into the posh hotel that's located right at the White Drin River where I would spend my first night in Kosovo, I was ready to take the relatively short walk up the gorge, marveling at the lush green greenery and listening to the water flowing and tumbling down the river. I spent the evening sampling the many tasty traditional dishes from this part of the world, such as halal cold cuts with ayvar sauce, paprika with fresh cream cheese, sarski syr cheese served with fresh traditional bread, a layered pancake called flija, a meat roll and fried dough named after the Albanian freedom fighter hero Skanderbeg, and of course fresh fish from the Drin River. From the White Drin River, it is only a short drive down to Pejë, the first town I would visit in Kosovo. Pejë, also known as Pejë, is located in the picturesque Rugova Valley and similar to the White Drin Valley, it is surrounded by mountains. The city has a rich history dating back to ancient times, with archaeological evidence indicating that the area was inhabited as far back as the Neolithic period. The first highlight of my visit was the famous Patriarchate of Pejë, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The historic monastery holds significant religious and spiritual importance for the Serbian Orthodox Church and the Orthodox Christian community worldwide. It serves as a place of pilgrimage, prayer, and contemplation for believers who come here to pay homage to the saints and experience the undeniable spiritual atmosphere of the place. The Patriarchate of Pejë is renowned for its exceptional frescoes, which are considered masterpieces of medieval Serbian art. The frescoes cover the interior walls and ceilings of the churches, depicting religious themes, biblical stories, and scenes from the lives of saints in vivid detail. I marveled at the vibrant colors, intricate details, and artistic application. The frescoes alone made the complex of medieval Serbian Orthodox monasteries worth the visit. But I also spent some time in the beautifully upkept gardens, which invited for a rest. Later that day, I went to visit the colorful market of Pejë, known for its vibrant arts and craft scene, with local artisans producing handmade pottery, textiles, and wood carvings. While I was not quite ready to do some major shopping, I nevertheless enjoyed browsing through the unique souvenirs and products, many of which document the age-old craftsmanship of the region. Kosovo is surprisingly affordable for foreign visitors. Upon further reflection, this may be the cheapest country I've been to in all of Europe. And what makes it even more attractive is that the quality of service is nevertheless high and the food always excellent. At the center of the market, I rested at the Bazaar Mosque, which dates back to the Ottoman times and was more recently rehabilitated after it was burned down during the 1999 war with Serbia. As the sun slowly disappeared behind the old shop buildings of the bazaar, I decided to call it a day. The next morning I got up early to head south in the direction of Prizren. Driving the well-paved national road south, I was surprised to see more Albanian flags than even Kosovo flags. More people here are of Albanian ethnicity and clearly seem to identify with the ethnic heritage of neighboring Albania. But Kosovo is also still a disputed territory. Landlocked and bordering Albania, Macedonia, Montenegro and Serbia, Kosovo declared independence from Serbia only in 2008. And while the United States and most members of the European Union, a total of give or take 100 countries around the world, recognize Kosovo's independence, many also do not, including Serbia, Russia, China and Spain. Especially Serbs still consider Kosovo an integral part of their country, due to the long common history and important Serbian heritage foundations that lie in this territory. My first stop of the day was in Drin. I was going to visit yet another highly important World Heritage Site, the iconic monastery Visoki Decani. Passing the heavy guarded road patrol of the K4 units that protect the historic sites against any potential attacks, I entered the monastery through the front portal. The Visoki Decani monastery was founded in the 14th century between the years 1327 and 1335 by Serbian King Stefan Decanski, also known as Stefan Uroš III. It was built in the Serbian Orthodox architectural style and served as a royal mausoleum for the Serbian royal family. The monastery is dedicated to Jesus Christ, the Pantocrator, and is world famous for its rich history, cultural significance, and architectural beauty. Once past the defensive walls, I could see why this place is still considered one of the finest examples of medieval Serbian architecture. The main church is built in the Byzantine style with a central dome and narthex, adorned with intricate stone carvings and decorative details. But the highlight of any visit here are without a doubt the intricate medieval frescoes that are a timeless testament to the rich cultural Serbian heritage. The frescoes were painted by renowned Serbian and Byzantine artists, including master painter Stefan Uroš, and depict scenes from the life of Jesus Christ, the lives of saints, and biblical stories. I was blown away by the vibrant colors, exquisite details, and artistic treatment. Continued my journey to my next stop, the town of Gjakove, a historical settlement where the influence of the Ottomans is still palpable. I started my excursion at the iconic clock tower, an architectural fixed point of the old town center. Gjakove is perhaps most famous for its vibrant bazaar, the Sharjah Evyeter. Unfortunately, it was Sunday, noontime, and many of the shops were closed, but I nevertheless wandered through the many narrow cobblestone streets lined by traditional Ottoman-style buildings and eventually found a few traditional stores that opened up for business, selling a variety of goods to local patrons. The most vibrant part of the old city center, however, was a set of streets that was flanked by cool restaurants and cafes that I was sure would come alive in the evening. From here, I headed to the historic Hadum Mosque, which dates back to the 16th century and is one of the oldest mosques in Kosovo. The mosque is still very much active, but is also open for visitors. The beautiful interior makes this religious building a true masterpiece. Outside the mosque, in the pretty garden, I observed a few cats enjoying the shade and fresh water normally used for ablutions. The next day, I headed to Prizren, an historic city that lies in the banks of the Bistrica River and is surrounded by picturesque mountains and scenic landscapes. Prizren might be the most beautiful of all cities in Kosovo, as it looks back on a long and rich history that goes all the way back to ancient times. But like in many parts of the Balkans, Prizren has been influenced by ever-changing civilizations, with Romans, Byzantines, Bulgarians, Serbs and Ottomans ruling over the lands for longer periods. Upon arrival, I immediately ventured into the city's old town, also known as Stari Grad, a labyrinth of narrow cobblestone-paved streets that are lined by traditional Ottoman-style buildings and historical monuments, including mosques, churches and hammams. The perhaps most notable landmark here is the 14th century Sinan Pasha Mosque that oversees a vibrant central square. Other highlights included the 16th century Church of St. George and the impressive Prizren Fortress, which offers panoramic views of the city and surrounding countryside. After a restful break in my apartment, I spent the evening joining the many visitors and locals that flocked the old town, where I also had a hearty dinner in one of the many cozy restaurants that overlook the Bistrica River. The next morning, I got up early to continue my journey to Kosovo's vibrant capital, the city of Pristina. In antiquity, the area of Pristina was part of the Dardanian kingdom. After changing rulings of the Romans and Byzantines, up to the 9th century, the First Bulgarian Empire took over, interrupted by another Byzantine occupation. The growing kingdom of Serbia annexed the area during the reign of Stefan Dušan in the 13th century, and it remained under the Serbian Empire until the Ottomans claimed the area in 1455. During Ottoman rule, Pristina developed from a village to a major urban center of the region. After the First Balkan War in 1914, it became a part of the newly formed Kingdom of Serbia. And in 1948, it was chosen as the capital of the province Kosovo in Yugoslavia. Since Kosovo declared its independence in 2008, Pristina has become the capital and political, financial, and commercial center of Kosovo. I was ready to head into the streets of the city center, going on a walk that took me from the iconic newborn monument that changes its artistic coloration every year to the relatively recent cathedral of St. Mother Teresa. From there, I visited the quirky building of the National Library, which has been named by some to be one of the world's ugliest buildings. But I really enjoyed the rather daring and unique design of the place. From here, it was just a short walk to the vibrant pedestrian zone of the city center that features wide open streets that are lined with cafes, restaurants, and shops. Passing the Skanderberg Square with a prominent statue of the Albanian freedom fighter hero, I visited the Ottoman-style mosques and the historic clock tower of the old town. While Pristina may not quite have the historical charm of Prizren, it is nevertheless a fascinating, dynamic and cosmopolitan city and a must-see on any Kosovo tour. What's nice about this walk through Pristina is that there's so many unexpected little surprises, little places, little squares, monuments, cafes, restaurants. There's like several little neighborhoods in the city center, and it's all worth exploring. For my last day in Kosovo, I decided to continue my road trip to the northern town of Mitrovica. Divided by the Ibar River, the city is not only physically but also ethnically divided, as the northern part of the city is predominantly inhabited by ethnic Serbs and the southern part inhabited by ethnic Albanians. The city has been the site of many ethnic tensions and conflicts, particularly during the Kosovo War in the late 1990s and its aftermath. The main symbol of Mitrovica's division is the Ibar Bridge, which connects the northern and southern parts of the city. The bridge has been a flashpoint for ethnic tensions and has been the site of protests and incidents in the past, and even now, these tensions flare up once in a while, most recently over disputes over self-governance rights of the Serbian minority. A predominantly ethnic Albanian police clashed with a paramilitary group armed with military-grade weapons, leaving dead and injured victims on both sides. International KFOR troops are deployed to secure the area, and when I was there, some Italian carabinieri were guarding the bridge. Reconciliation efforts are ongoing, and it can only be hoped that a peaceful and harmonious coexistence will return to the city, which has so much to offer to its visitors. Perhaps the most beautiful landmark in Mitrovica is the sizable Isa Bek Mosque, located in the city center on the Albanian side. Tragically burned down in 1998 during the war, it was rebuilt and opened in 2014 with Turkish aid. The massive 2,500 square meter facility is 48 meters high and can accommodate nearly 4,000 people. This makes it Kosovo's largest mosque. I continued my city tour next door at the severely underfunded and underrated Mitrovica City Museum. This inconspicuous museum holds a number of historic treasures that date back thousands of years and are not to be missed. For the best views over the city, I headed up the hill that overlooks the city to the north. beautiful walkway through lush green forests dotted with wild flowers leads up to another major highlight of the city. But before getting there, I had a surprise encounter with a turtle which slowly crossed my path. I'm now on my way to the Miners Monument, and in this beautiful little pathway to the monument, I've encountered my first wild turtle, which is interesting. That I didn't expect that. Very cute, and she's just kind of strolling along here. Maybe also on her way to seeing the monument. Eventually I made it to the monumental sculpture for the heroic miners on top of the hill. The iconic monument pays homage to the rich mining heritage of the region and was erected during communist Yugoslavian times. Back then, the near Trepča mines were the largest in the country. The views from up here are spectacular, and for a moment the differences seemed small and the beautiful scenery told a tale of more peaceful and prosperous times ahead. Tales of a city where both ethnic diversity and unity can be mutually honored and celebrated. Standing up here, I was reminded of the many amazing experiences I had in Kosovo these past few days. The rich history and fascinating cultural landmarks, the excellent food, and the many lovely encounters with the people here that showed me a warm hospitality that can only be found here in the Balkans.